Secretary of State on the national level is. But they work a lot with embassies, I know that. And but our Secretary of State here oversees elections in the state of Indiana. She also licenses new business and oversees all the business activity in the state of Indiana. And she is who we call the keeper of the seal. All public documents comes through our Secretary of State's office. So she puts the seal on it to make it official. And I'll point out our state seal as we go along with the buildings. But those are the primary jobs of our Secretary of State. And Richard Murdoch, who is our treasurer, if you watch any TV, you will see his face on television quite a lot because he is vying for the national Senate seat on the national level. So you're going to be seeing a lot of him. And this man is my favorite because he pays the bills for the state of Indiana. He's the auditor, and he gives me a little something for what I do here. So he's my favorite, right? He smiles a lot because he's always giving people money, right? And this is our Attorney General. He works down in an office on that end of the building, and he does everything pertaining to the law state. You know, if they have any lawsuits, they handle that. Various different programs that they have going on. And this is Tony Bennett, and his office is right down there. He is our superintendent of public education. So he oversees education, kindergarten through high school. And he does avail himself to private schools from time to time. And he oversees the charter schools, some of the public charter schools, and vouchers. So that's who's on this floor. Upstairs, we have our legislative branch of government. The House is over there, the Senate on that side. And on that end of the third floor, we have the Supreme Court for the state of Indiana. On the fourth floor, we have the second highest court in the state. Of course, we have some offices up there too. But we have something a little bit unique in that we have a room set aside for prayer and meditation. It's got a beautiful window in it. So that's a little bit unique in state capitol buildings. So that tells you what we have here and what I'm going to try to show you. Now, we did not start out here as the 19th state. We actually started out as the 19th state somewhere else, in a little town on the Ohio River. Right down there. Because this was the Wild West, and people accessed this area by boat. So it was natural for them to begin government on the river. But right away, once the legislative branch of the government convened, they made the decision to move the capital to the center of the state. That occurred in 1825. So it took a few years because they had to find a place suitable, plus they had to plat out the city and sell the land, that type of thing. So, in 1825, they officially opened government here in Indianapolis. They did not have enough of a tax base in the beginning to build a Capitol building. So they had to wait 10 years to do that. And this is the building they built, right here, on these grounds. But the building did not hold up over time. Within 35 years, the roof collapsed on over half of the building. Now, fortunately, no one was hurt. In those days, people didn't work in state capitol buildings in the summertime. They went home to farm their land. So no one was hurt in the incident. But ultimately, they had to tear that building down, and they built this building. If you look at that picture closely, you'll see men in top hats sitting on the steps. And there's other reasons for me to believe that that picture was taken in 1865, when Lincoln's body, you've heard of President Lincoln, his body laid in state after his assassination in that building on his way up to Illinois for burial. So they tore that structure down and they built this beautiful building, and it is one of the more beautiful capitals in the nation. And you see a lot of marble, and most of this marble comes from the east coast of the United States, except this red marble, which comes from Tennessee. We do have fossils in our black marble, so you'll see swirling marks in our black marble. Those are fossils, cephalopod fossils. And this material, this gray stone, Indiana is famous throughout the country for its limestone. Most capitol buildings are built out of Indiana limestone, and a lot of other famous buildings too. Statues are made out of Carrara carving marble from Italy, and they all stand for a value of civilization. The man who designed this building, any of you interested in architecture? Are you? Well, the man who designed this building, he was from Indianapolis. He did not live to see the building finished, but he put these statues in front of these granite columns to give us a symbolic message. He was saying that we need justice, we need liberty, we need law, we need all of these categories in our society to keep it strong, to hold it up and support it. Just like the granite columns behind the statues hold up and support the rotunda area. Now, if you look at the statues in their facial features, they're all kind of delicate ethereal features, kind of Greek goddess-like features, except for one of them. One looks different than the rest of them. One of them was actually modeled for by a Hoosier who lived in the 1880s, and she was married to a judge. That would be Madam Justice. Her name was Mary Wilson, and she's been immortalized in stone, for no other reason than who she chose to link her life with. So Judge Wilson was in the limestone business with the artist. Okay, there's the connection. Now the stained glass window is quite lovely. It's got our state colors in it, blue and gold. But to be perfectly honest, it could stand a good scrubbing. It hasn't been cleaned since 1984. When it was cleaned in 1984, this is what it looked like. They started cleaning in the middle. Look at how dirty that window was. But look at how white the clean part is compared to today. That tells you that there's soil on that, which is making it more gold, which kind of works for Indiana, because blue and gold is our state colors, right? So that isn't to say we don't want it to get too dirty before they clean it. That's 105 feet to the center of the window, and then another 130 feet above it in the form of a large dome and a small dome on top of that. Our maintenance staff does have to go up there and change the flags from time to time, manually. And we did have an incident in the building about 20 years ago where a person went up there to change the flags on a windy day. And when he went to open the trap door, 20 235 feet in the air. He was sucked out of the building by the wind. And fortunately, he was able to grab onto the rope. Did you look at the building before you entered it, how high it is? And fortunately, he was able to grab onto the rope. And the person he had with him grabbed onto his legs in time to save his life. But Bill, that was his name, hung out there precariously for about 20 minutes before they could safely bring him back in. And he had a lot of time to think about his vocation, and he decided to become a groundskeeper from then on. He never went back up there. I was kind of testing your humor here. Where are you folks from? I haven't asked you that. Where are you from? Where? I didn't. I'm from Burma. Okay. That's a long ways. I'm trying to position you somewhere in China, right?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where. Is it anywhere near Nepal?
No, China, Thailand, Singapore, those are neighboring countries.
Okay.
And India in between China.
Okay. All right. But, so, I do want to tell you that that display case is housing some old territorial books right now. But it was built to house our two Indiana constitutions. We have constitutions on the national level, but each state has its own constitution also. And we have two of them here in the state of Indiana. And we built this case to showcase our two Indiana constitutions. They'll be back on the birthday of the state, and we'll have a big party. The governor will come, school children will come, and our chief archivist will bring the two constitutions and put them on display. So the case is special because when we wrote our Constitution in 1816, we wrote it outside because it was too hot to be inside, and we wrote it underneath an elm tree. There's a picture of it when it was living, and after it died in the 1920s. But that wood was saved. All of the wood that was cut off of that tree was saved, and we were able to build our case with it. So when our 195-year-old document comes back on display, it's still being protected by the tree it was written on. That's kind of special for the people of Indiana. So we're going to go on upstairs now. We are not going to get on the floor of the House or the Senate because they are holding committee meetings up there. But we can go up to the 4th floor and we can listen to a little bit of what's going on if you'd like to do that. But before we do that, we're going to go up to see the Supreme Court because it's on the 3rd floor. We'll go see that, and then we'll go up to the 4th floor and see what we can see in the legislative branch. So if you'll follow me, stand up, and we're going to go down this way.